Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Western Division Final on the Under Review's simulated FPHL season. I'm Casey Bryant, bringing you exclusive live coverage of Game 2 between the Carolina Thunderbirds and the Port Huron Prowlers. Game 1, well, it was an embarrassment. It was a disgrace. It was complete and utter domination from the gun to the final whistle. Carolina breezed their way to a 7-1 victory over Port Huron, and for Port Huron, they hit rock bottom, and they have nowhere to go but up. You gotta hope that they hit the bottom and bounce if they're going to make this series any kind of contest. For Carolina, meanwhile, really the game plan remains the same. Get out to a quick start, try to take Port Huron's legs out from underneath them early, and, well, this game will be in Port Huron, Michigan, so you gotta hope that they get that virtual crowd out of the contest and take care of business early. Port Huron will have to do a better job of getting the puck and moving it around up the ice. They simply were just weak on possession last time. Really, there's not too much to say in terms of analysis, because what has to be better? Everything. Everything has to be better for Port Huron. We just have to see if the puck bounces their way tonight. We're getting set for puck drop here in Port Huron. Let's get you right to the action for Game 2 of the Western Division Final. The joint is jumping in McMorran Arena out in Port Huron, Michigan, as the Prowlers look to rebound against a disastrous Game 1 against the Carolina Thunderbirds. The top two seeds in the West squaring off. Christian Pavlos between the pipes for the Thunderbirds, one win away from his second consecutive berth in the FPHL Commissioner's Cup Final. Chris Paulin trying to rebound from his, well, let's call it what it is, his worst performance of the season. In Game 1, allowing 7 goals to Carolina. The Prowlers will be skating from left to right on your YouTube screen, donning their home blacks with red and white candy striping along their sleeves. Carolina, meanwhile, wearing the traditional road whites with black and red trim, as the first shot on goal is gloved by Pavlos and held. Dalton Jay, the former Danburian, used to play for the Danbury Titans back in the day. My neck of the woods over in the Danbury Arena. Carried up, though, by Stan Vlasov, another former Danburian. Up to Brendan Contrado, who has the puck lifted off of his stick. To Young, up the left wing. Contrado carries ahead. Contrado, red line, blue line, enters in. Contrado crosses over to Matt Graham. Graham behind the end line, has Salak marking him. Out to Contrado, now Young with a long slapper that's blocked out of the air by Pavlos into the corner. Fate gets it over to Vlasov, who maneuvers the puck up the ice. Intercepted quickly by Port Huron. Port Huron already doing a better job, and they score! Matt Graham gets the Prowlers on the board 2.5 minutes into the contest. It's 1-0. Just as I was about to praise how much better this start was for the Port Huron Prowlers, that kind of play execution is what they were missing the entirety of Game 1. Matt Graham and the Prowlers are able to go puck-hawking in the neutral zone, halt the advance of the Thunderbirds, come right back and get a clean shot on Pavlos, beats him far side past the blocker, and the Prowlers have themselves a 1-0 lead. Complete role reversal from Game 1. The Thunderbirds were able to get the first tally of Game 1 less than a minute into the game. Now here we are 2.5 minutes into the game, and Port Huron looking for number 2. Nippert is knocked down to his knees. Bakor will take the puck away and get it up to Martin. Martin on the right wing. Comes together with Parsons. Parsons tries to flick it out towards the neutral zone. He loses the handle on it. It's loose in the corner, picked up by Petita, who had himself a pair of goals in Game 1. Out to Bakor. Passes it down low, picked off by Nippert. He'll carry it out into the neutral zone, glide to his right. Takes a hard check, retains possession of the puck, feeds Moroso. Passes out to Vartianen, long slapper, gloved and held by Pavlos, and he holds 5 minutes into the first period. A rejuvenated Port Huron Prowlers squad here in the early goings of Game 2. Now the question will be, can they get a multi-goal lead on the Thunderbirds? This is a team that is very difficult to put away. Carolina is capable of coming back from any deficit. Earlier in the season, they were able to come back from, oh my, and this bounces off a stick and they score! Cangelosi with a change-up shot. A knuckle puck flitters over the shoulder of Pavlos. Cangelosi's shot went off of the defensive stick of Matt Stoya. Stoya was trying to do his best to get his stick in the passing lane. He instead reaches out and blocks the shot. And that is defense 101. Do not get your stick in the way of the netminder if he has a clean sight save. And the Port Huron Prowlers gift a goal to the Carolina Thunderbirds. We were just mentioning Robertson gets it to Portillo. Carolina is able to come back from any deficit. Earlier in the year, they were down 6-2 to the Danbury Hat-Tricks, came back to tie it and force eventually a shootout which they lost 7-6, that being back on Thursday, January 30th. But it just goes to show that no lead is safe. And a shot and they score! Fowler with a wrister. Helter-skelter action and the Prowlers reclaim the lead. Two goals that are uncharacteristic of Pavlos to allow. Twice now he's been beaten far side past the blocker as Fowler takes a step in, wires one, a hard shot that rang off the iron and in. Just cutting towards the slot area where he can increase his chances of scoring. The Port Huron Prowlers are starting to cut their way to the middle of the ice, which is the meaty part of the ice to score from. Once you can get to that house area, that sort of invisible pentagon extending from the net out to the face-off circles. Long slapper, redirection, they score! Sokol in front. 3-1 Prowlers. Where the bounces are going Port Huron's way. Contrado's slapper is redirected right in front by Sokol. Sokol is unencumbered in front of Pavlos. He's able to get his lumber on it and redirect it past the netminder. What's more impressive, Pavlos was already sitting on the goal line. He's already well deep in his net. To redirect it past him when he's already so far back. And Port Huron has taken it to Carolina in the early goings. Now another redirection in front and Pavlos covers it. And we're not even at the halfway point of the first period yet. Port Huron was unable to solve Christian Pavlos until they were already down 5-0 in yesterday's game. That came late in the second period. Now they've already bested him 3 times, and you wonder if they're able to get another quickie. Is Pavlos long for this game? Long slapper gloved out of the air by Pavlos. And you wonder who would be the backup in this scenario. You would have, of course, Nicholas Modica on the roster, Michael Marcinek. Pavlika was on the roster once upon a time. Jacob Mullen was the netminder for the Carolina Thunderbirds for a significant portion of the season, but was traded at the deadline out to the Mentor Icebreakers. And on the near side corner, Grant. Up the boards, looking towards the point. It rolls past Parsons. He'll skate after it, and a long pass over the middle of the ice. A dangerous play, but is able to find his teammate in Dalton Jay. Graham streaking to the net, looking in front. Graham has the stick broken up. Martiena. Pass intercepted. Up come the Thunderbirds in transition. They are met at the blue line and forced to retreat. Klinitsky. Out to Krivolovic in the center of the zone. Krivolovic up the left wing, intended for Cangelosi, out of his reach, and an icing is called. Now, I'm not joking. I've called several of these virtual games between the regular season. There were how many regular season games? 7 regular season games and 3 playoff games of my own, and for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, and 1 yesterday. That is the first icing I've ever seen in one of these simulations. That's impressive. It's a little thing, like it's not even necessary, really. Krivolovic with a wrister that's swallowed up by Paulin, and he holds. And Krivolovic and Stoya, well, they'll get down to business. Krivolovic lands a right and immediately pops the bucket off of Stoya. What a right. Now they get tangled up. They do-si-do for a bit. Stoya with an uppercut. Krivolovic throws a hook and misses. Now his bucket is off. Krivolovic swings and misses again. Tries to land one on the chin. Stoya and Krivolovic jostling with their left hands. Another swing and a miss. And a big ol' right brings him down to the ice. Stonehand Stoya brings down Krivolovic. Krivolovic wanted some, and he got some in a big way. That looked like a street fight. Both players seems to have found their helmets. Well, the face-off will be in the Port Huron defensive zone. One, Cangelosi wrister looking low. Paulin is able to smother it. Got his left leg pad on that one. Well, this game's had a little bit of everything so far in the early goings. Plenty of scoring, and now a fight on the card. For Krivolovic, he's not much of a fighter. In 44 games, he only had 19 penalty minutes. Flicking it out towards Kenny. Now back over to Pastuca. Long slapper goes off of the friendly legs of a Carolina teammate. Pastuca. One-timer rifled wide off the boards. Panachek to Martin to Kenny. Takes a check from Joe Pace, and Pace is able to escape the defensive zone. Up in a 2-on-1. Moroso, wrister, save, Pavlos, and Joe Pace knocks the net off its mooring. Pace came in like a wrecking ball. He never hit so hard with it. Dalton J and Grebennikov will square off in the neutral zone. A good rush generated, though, by Joe Pace. He's able to break up that pass. Now breaking in on breakaway. Graham's shot gloved and held by Pavlos. Graham had an opportunity to make a fancier move there, but elected just to fire off a wrist shot. Pavlos up to the task. Pass to between the hash marks. Federley stripped from behind. Up comes McIntyre for Carolina. McIntyre looking in front of the net, broken up by Young. McIntyre again looking for the stuffing on the post. Paulin sprawling out, unable to find the puck. Now he's able to cover it up after a few awkward motions. Looking like he glitched out a little bit on the post. Unable to truly secure the puck. Grebennikov out with McIntyre and Holt for the offensive zone draw for Carolina. Young is almost knocked off the puck by McIntyre. Now up to Dalton J. Ahead to Matt Grant. Grant, square to Pavlos. Wrister, blocker save. Federley is being hampered along the boards, but is able to retain possession. What terrific play there by Federley. Contrato to Young, back to Contrato. Long slapper redirected, and it trickles just wide of the net mouth. An awkward play, and now squibbing along the goal line and kicked out by Pavlos. It went off of, I believe, the skates of Grebennikov, then off the skates of Pavlos. Had to be kicked out, and now we'll have a power play coming up, as a cross-check will be assessed against Young. We'll take another look at the play here as he got his hands up high, and I guess that's a cross-check right to the neck area of the virtual Carolina player, and that will be a power play. Bunn, Salak, and Panachek. The three forwards out there for Carolina. An incredibly dangerous top unit for this power play. Bakor with a two-line pass gets it up to Salak, who had a hattie in game one. Salak back to Klinitsky, over to Bakor. Looking down low, Stoya picks it off, lifts it down the length of the ice. 45 seconds to go in the period. If there is no scoring, there will be 20 seconds of power play time carrying over into the second period. Bun to Salak. Enters in. Backhander off the mask of Paulin. He holds. A winded unit out still for the Port Huron Prowlers. Portillo and Zulkanich will stay out there as the best penalty killers for the team. Able to win the face-off and clear it down the length of the ice. Pavlos will leave it for Vlasov up to Petita. Do they have one more shot in them? Osaka will hold it along the boards, and that will do it. A 3-1 lead for the Port Huron Prowlers as a few bounces go their way. And they have taken the Thunderbirds by surprise and have let them know that they will not go quietly into the night. Can they force a Game 3 in Winston-Salem? We have 40 more minutes to determine the winner. You're watching the FPHL Simulated Playoffs on the Under Review YouTube channel. Don't go anywhere. Port Huron are trying to stay alive. 20 more seconds of power play time for Carolina. Bun, Salak, and Panajic will get another crack at it, as they'll have time for one more play with the man advantage. Faceoff is won by Port Huron. Port Huron has been excellent on the faceoff dot so far in the series. Joe Pace will carry it in and kill off these final precious seconds of the power play. Pace holds it in the zone. Out to Zulkanich, can't connect with him. Now Fate trying to skate up the boards. He's met by Port Huron. Bouncing puck in the neutral zone, eventually settled by Vlasov and carried up by Bun. And loops it around roulette style to the corner where Panajic will settle it down. Behind the net, Joe Pace throws a hit on Panajic. Pace now will skate it out of danger, crosses his own blue line, leaves it for Dalton J, who hits Zulkanich in stride. Zulkanich in behind one defender as Graham in front, as well as Dalton J. J's weak wrister is covered up by Pavlos. Didn't get all of that one. Graham was waiting there in front of the net. If he had a voice, I'm sure he would be calling for it. Joe Pace, as he was skating around, is taking a look at that heavy hit there. Clocked him in the face. Over now for a bad angle try that gets gloved out of the air by Pavlos and carried ahead by Carolina. On the right side, staple gunned against the boards. Dalton J picks it out. Now Jay with a bit of open space. One-on-one. Trying to get around Klinitsky. He does. Gets a shot off, and Pavlos up to the task. Angelosi. Now up to Pargach on the left side. Pargach did have a goal in Game 1. To Bakor, to Cangelosi. Cangelosi right now has the lone tally for the Thunderbirds, and we will get a stoppage in play as Port Huron touches the puck, and a hooking call will be assessed. And another power play opportunity and another chance for the Thunderbirds to get back in this game and have the deficit. As Osaka took a stick to his left hand, and Fowler will visit the penalty box. Portillo and Zulkanich, who were out for the duration of the first penalty, will be out for the second. And another face-off win for Portillo. And that is key. You force the Carolina Thunderbirds to go the full 200 feet in order to set up shop. They enter in, wire it down low, looking for Osaka, trying to poke it past the padding of Paulin. And he's able to hold the goal line. A wonky play there as Osaka was able to plant himself in the blue paint. Slapper, lively bounce off the end boards, trickles past Paulin and cleared. What a wacky sequence of events that was for Paulin. Now back up the right wing. Here's Krivolovic. Krivolovic met by Joe Pace. Puck is cleared. 30 seconds to go in the power play. Pavlos holds it for Vlasov. Up once more to Krivolovic. Has Osaka with him. Slides it to Osaka. Sharp angled try. Stopped by Paulin. Power play over. 7 minutes gone by in the second. 3-1 your score in favor of Port Huron. Bakor down low. Krivolovic Has Osaka with him. Looking to cycle it down low for Osaka. Goes up the stick of Young, and the Prowlers will skate it out of danger. Fowler will dump it in, and they'll get a partial change. Klinitsky with a long pass finds Salak at the opposing blue line. He was waiting for it. Gets it to Panachik. Bakhor knocked down to the ice by Fowler, and Fowler almost had himself a breakaway, but he was met once more by Bakhor, popped right back up to his feet. Grebenikov and Nippard will be in the faceoff dot in the neutral zone, a long way away from Andre Nitsch's bench. Grebenikov enters in to Kenny. Back to McIntyre. Down low. Grebenikov shot saved by Paulin. Another hard check along the boards. Kenny turns around, sends it to the net. Save Paulin. Paulin looking much sharper in this game. As a long slapper once more to redirect it wide. McIntyre again blocked in from Vartiainen. Still loose, kept alive Carolina. Carolina getting all the bodies in front of the net. They're doing everything right, but put it in the back of the net. Holt, another try save. Another attempt is gloved out of the air. What a frustrating sequence of events for Carolina. They do everything right on that sequence. They maintain puck possession. They're able to get bodies in front of the net to try to take away Paulin's eyes. They're able to get shots on goal from the high danger areas, and they're still unable to solve him. Giuliano will carry it up the left wing, and Paulin will get a reprieve. Giuliano enters in. Backhander save, and goes barreling into the net. And Christian Pavlos will go for a skate while his cage is adjusted. Giuliano went into Pavlos like he was trying to break up a double play. A little Chase Utley on Ruben Tejada action there. Taken away. Here's Sokol. Rister turned aside. Up the right wing. Here come the Thunderbirds. Feeding a man in stride. That was Bakhor's long slapper. That's turned out by Paulin. Picked up Giuliano. Up to Dalton J. 7.5 to go in the second. 3-1 still your score. J to Arnich. Sent wide. J back out once more to Arnich. To Stoya. Long slapper. Finds glass. Now Batita carries ahead. Batita's been relatively quiet in this one. Gets it over to Panachik. Panachik, long wrister that's blocked in front. Federley. Now back the other way. Port Huron wearing a lot of vulcanized rubber discs so far in this contest. They need a nice virtual ice bath after this one. No regard for their own safety getting in front of these shots. Trying to do the best they can to insulate Paulin from an inundation of shots on goal. Nippert to Federley. Federley out to Contrado, down low Moroso. Back out to Young. Holding along the blue line, Young slapper. Gets Salak. Salak breaks his stick in the process. Prowlers forced out to the neutral zone. Salak will get a new twig. Moroso to Pace. His shot broken up by Fate. Once more, centering pass. They score! Moroso! 4-1 is your score after a highly successful shift for the grind line in Port Huron. Moroso was out there for a long time, as was Nippard. Joe Pace does the dirty work in the corner, chases after the puck and sends it out to the middle of the ice. Senses that Moroso was waiting for the one-timer in that right-handed shot. Again, if you're able to get the puck on the right wing and you have a righty waiting in the slot, it is a near automatic in this simulation that you will score. You have to be able to pick up the skaters in the slot, as here's another chance for Port Huron as they go charging into the netminder, and Pavlos will hold. So what a reversal this has been for Port Huron, as now they hold a 3-goal lead on the Thunderbirds. A complete change in fortune from Game 1. Trying to do all they can to force a Game 3 in Winston-Salem tomorrow night. Osaka to the right wing. Here's Pargach. Up to Osaka. To Cangelosi. Retreating a bit. Fate will wait. To Pargach. He enters in. As Osaka making his way in front of the net. Net by Parsons. Parsons throws a check. That Port Huron can just do all they can to protect their own netminder. Now you can start to play a little bit conservatively. You don't want to surrender the puck to Carolina. Here's the setup in front, turned out by Pavlovs. You would love to get one more if you're Port Huron. You would love to get just a little bit more of a security blanket. Here's Zolkanich with a shot kicked out. Portillo turning around, post! 2 seconds and 1, that will do it. Zolkanich pings one in the final seconds of the period, and boy, wouldn't that have been a backbreaker.
Now's your chance to play clean.
Nevertheless, a 4-1 lead for the Port Huron Prowlers heading into the third period. You're watching the FPHL Simulated Playoffs on the Under Review YouTube channel. Don't go anywhere.
Bottles and clean paper products in the Play Clean recycling bins located throughout the arena. Thank you for joining us in a campaign to save energy and keep our city clean.
Will there be a Game 3, or can the Carolina Thunderbirds stage a comeback here in Michigan and spoil Game 2? Dalton J. and Michael Bunn. Bunn wins it back for his defensive squad, and Carolina will get to work. They have to overcome a 3-goal deficit. Fate down low, tries to chip it past the blocker. Paulin in front of that one. Vlasov upended. Kept in by Fate. Salak, right wing. Looks to the net. Glove save, Paulin. Paulin has done a terrific job of reading the angles in this game. He's been much better keeping his body in front of the shots. And really the defense, save for one errant attempt at a shot block, which led to a Cangelosi goal. The Port Huron defense has done a much better job of protecting the middle of the ice and getting their bodies in front of shots, as there's a one-timer that's stopped by Paulin. Vlasov to Fate. Back to Vlasov. Down low. Krivalava. Fate is run into, but Carolina keeps the puck in deep. Contrato gets their first delayed penalty coming up against Carolina. Dalton J. Up ahead on the left wing. Swarmed by Thunderbirds. Has Graham in front of the net. Still holding on to it. Gets it along the boards. J. On his backhand. Stick being lifted. Keeping it alive. J. Loses the handle. It will be touched by Carolina, and a 2-minute penalty for hooking will be assessed against Michael Bunn. Take a look as Dalton J. Might have sold that one a little bit as Bunn's stick was up in the air, but well, the hooking calls always seem to be a bit mysterious.
Penalty to number 11. 2 minutes for hooking. Time of the penalty. 3 minutes, 17
Nevertheless, it is a prime opportunity for Port Huron to try to provide a little bit of breathing room. They already have a 3-goal lead, but wouldn't they love to get one more for security? After all, this Carolina team can score in bunches. Parsons to Joe Pace to Robertson. Robertson, Contrato high slot, shot blocked. To the circle it goes. Cangelosi kisses it off the glass and sends it down the length of the ice. Paulin will leave it for Parsons. To Portillo. A very alliterative unit out here for Port Huron. Contrato. To Pace. Pace feeds the one-timer, seen and held by Pavlovs. A lot of P-names out there. Paulin to Parsons. The Port Huron Prowlers sending it to Pavlovs. Not very insightful, I know, but something I'm picking up on. I was a theater minor in college. I appreciate a good Shakespearean use of alliteration. Here's a chip on the doorstep, a rebound, they score! Robertson! Power play goal, and the Prowlers are up 5-1. Portillo did a great job of setting that up. It's Parsons and Portillo who get the 2 assists. Portillo chips it off of the padding of Pavlos. And Robertson rebounds it off the ricochet. Terrific teamwork.
Porto goal, scored by number 50, assisted by number 9.
Now the Prowlers will protect
Time of the goal,
a prime
23 seconds.
5-1 lead. All right, I'll stop trying to do the eliminations now. Nippered up the right wing. Has to hold up to avoid an offside. Carolina a bit stunned in this one as they have had it taken it to them. 5-1 is now your score for Port Huron, and as the clock ticks down, it's looking like we're drawing ever closer to a decisive winner-take-all Game 3 down in Winston-Salem. Well, even though Game 2 has not gone their way, I'm sure that Carolina is not sweating this one bit, as they have been unstoppable on home ice so far this year. It enters in, and that one's got offsides. Carolina is one of the best home teams in the league. As we take a look at their schedule, they really only have a handful of losses on home ice. They lost their home opener to the Danbury Hat-Tricks, that being their banner-raising night. They would later lose in extra time to the Elmira Enforcers. And beyond that, they had a shutout loss to the Columbus River Dragons and an OT loss to the Columbus River Dragons. So, you know, it's not a whole lot for the Carolina Thunderbirds that they've allowed at the Winston-Salem Annex. The Fairgrounds Annex, I should say, excuse me. Halfway through the third period, here's a man on the right wing losing the handle on. Rebenikov to Kenny. Angelosi takes a check, loses the handle on the puck. Parsons picks it up to Vartiani. Giuliano crosses to Zulkanich. Zulkanich looking to the centering pass for Portillo. It's intercepted. Here comes Cangelosi the other way. And Pargatch sticks, fails him. Well, the Thunderbirds will have to average a goal every 2 minutes here at this rate, and Pavlos will cover it up. It's getting late here for the Thunderbirds as it's looking more and more like we'll have a Game 3. Well, for Port Huron, they've done a much better job of equalizing the possession play in this one. This is a team that is able to control the pace of play because of their high-octane, speedy forwards. This is a team that got 96 shots on goal in a game against the Battle Creek Grumblebees. Granted, it was against the Battle Creek Grumblebees. And if you're not getting at least 40 shots on goal against Battle Creek, are you even trying? But 96 against a team of, well, anyone. I mean, you could be playing a Pee-wee squad and maybe not get to 96. Carolina also had one of those games earlier in the year where they were able to completely make a mockery of the possession. They had 66 shots on goal in one particular game against the Battle Creek Grumblebees. It's poor Battle Creek. There's really nothing else to say other than just poor Battle Creek. You tip your cap to Joel Eisenhower. They were having their year-end auction for their Game 1 jerseys. I wonder if Eisenhower's ever went, because that's a historic jersey. That's the only win in Battle Creek franchise history, which, again, I feel like we need to address, because it hasn't been addressed frequently enough, that the Battle Creek Grumblebees' only win in franchise history was on guaranteed win night in Elmira. Just let that sink in for a moment. Let it breathe. Let it aerate. Let it swirl around your wine in your glass. take it in because it's just too beautiful for words. I remember shortly after that game, Elmira came to Danbury, and I was talking with John Clement, their broadcaster in Elmira. I started cracking jokes because, truthfully, as the social media coordinator for Danbury, I apologized. I was like, we kind of got a lot of mileage out of this at your expense. And he shrugged it off, and he was a good sport about it, as that's sent down low and Pace has it kicked out by Pavlos. But he kind of joked, and he's like, yeah, guaranteed win night almost never goes right for us, so I don't know why it's a big deal now. Well, the reason why it's a big deal is because of the Battle Creek Rumblebees. And there was not a money line slanted enough in that particular scenario. So regardless of what the fate is of the Battle Creek Rumblebees, they actually did get all their home games out, so really their bottom line is not really affected by the ongoing crisis. Not quite like the other teams in the league that lost home games. But regardless of what this year and what next year holds for the FPHL, we'll always have Paris, Battle Creek. We will always have Elmira. Time ticking away. 5-1. Port Huron leads. Game 3 will be tomorrow night. It will be featured on the Under Reviews YouTube channel. You can be sure to hit that subscribe button down low. Hit the bell if you want notifications of the next game. You can also make sure that you're tuning into the Eastern Division Final between the Elmira Enforcers and Watertown Wolves. Robertson at the far side circle. 10 seconds to go. Zolkanich. They'll play keep away in the high slot. Skating ahead is Cangelosi, but that'll do it. There will be a tomorrow. Game 3 tomorrow night in Winston-Salem. After a laugher in Game 1, the Prowlers rebound in style. And they get an easy one of their own. 5-1 your final. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. We want to thank everyone at the Under Review for making this simulation a possibility. And for all of us, I'm Casey Bryant, saying have a good night and stay healthy.